Welcome to your next step up the self-publishing mountain.
I'm Matilda Swift, author of quintessentially British cozy mysteries.
And I'm Samantha Cummings, author of young adult books about magic, myths and monsters.
I've written the books,
Changed their covers,
tweaked their blurbs,
tried tools from a dozen ads courses.
and I'm still not seeing success.
Now, we're working together to plot and plan our way from barely making ends meet to pulling in a living wage.
Join us on our journey where we'll be mastering the pen to snag that paycheck.
Hello and welcome to Pen to Paycheck Authors Podcast. I'm Samantha Cummings, here with my co-host Matilda Swift, and we're here to write our way to financial success. We're two indie authors with over 24 books between us and still a long way to go towards the quit the day job dream. If that sounds familiar, listen along for our mastery through missteps journey. Each week we cover a topic to help along the way, and this week we're looking at our Q1s. But before we do that, let's do our wins and twinges of the week.
Oh, I feel like I have had the winniest wins and the whingiest whinges this week. Like, I have had a real emotional roller coaster, and like it's been a year of a week, so I'm not going to go into everything because some of it is sort of still coming down the road, and there'll be more interesting things to talk about it. But like, it's interesting that I feel like I had a really smooth, even, optimistic feeling the first couple of months after quitting my job, and now it just feels like everything is hitting me. And not even like emotionally, but like literal things are hitting me. Like literally things are happening. So yeah, just a lot is going on. So I'm going to stitch a couple of small things. Otherwise I could do a whole podcast of my wins and whinges. But win is I write culinary cozy mysteries, and I am writing a book that is set in a Shakespeare festival, and the main character who runs a tea room is creating an Elizabethan banquet. And so I wanted to do some era appropriate recipes, and one that I found was a sort of biscuit called Jumbles, which there is a biscuit called Jumbles in America, and I think it's like a distant cousin of this, but I wanted the original Jumbles, which were boiled and then baked. And I made a batch last week and they were all right. I was like, they were a bit chewy, they were a bit plain. I was like, I can sort of see how I've gone wrong. And I made some more today and they're so good. I was like, oh, I can really, like, it tastes like a different sort of biscuit and like cake thing. I was like, oh, what a nice thing to, how fun should I put that with people in my books? So that was very exciting and felt like a real win, and I felt like a real chef. The really all I did was like Google some problems and think about how gnocchi works, and then I made some fixes. But yes, and now I've got loads of interesting sort of, if bagels and biscuits as in English biscuits, if they had a baby, that's what this would make. Imagine that.
Yes.
Delicious.
I know, it does sound so good. That's like,
Yeah.
I love bagels. I love chewy.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's really good. So yes, but I can absolutely see why they fell out of fashion. So palaver. And it oddly has no butter in it. It's got egg in, so not vegan, but yeah, for such a simple recipe, it has. Anyway, I could talk about this all day. So I had a baking success today after a baking, like, not failure. I don't really have baking failures. You know, it's hard to mess up a biscuit. But it was a baking like disappointment, and now baking success. It felt very nice. And then my whinge is also just like, I'm doing too much, actually, is what I would say. Today, I took a day out of my editing schedule to try and tick off like all the to-dos that I keep moving from day to day. And I made myself a long list of not everything that's on my list, but like everything I thought I could feasibly get done in one day. And it was more than an A4 page long.
Oh.
And actually, I was like, what I'm going to practice doing, because a lot of them are really small things. They're like, message this person, reply to that thing, set up this document or whatever. A lot of them are like really small things that have been hanging over me for ages. And I put time checks them all, so I allotted them into different hour slots. And it was really useful to see how terrible I am estimating time, to really have to look at that. And I hadn't given myself any time to rest or eat or have problems. So yeah, it was helpful and also good to confront the fact that it's not like I'm just sitting around lazing around all the time. I am just too busy, and I'm overcommitted at the moment, and I need to have a long, hard think about that. How about you?
I feel like I really jinxed myself a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, everything's great. And if I'm being honest, all of my like writing life stuff is wins. I feel like I'm just like I feel very comfortable with where I am right now, but in a nice way, not in a comfortable and lazy. I mean comfortable and like comfort. It's a nice feeling. So I had a couple of like fun wins this week where one of them was I went to my monthly writing group, which was the second month of hosting it in a local bar, and my co-host couldn't make it because she was unwell, and I was like, that's fine,
Oh.
don't worry, I got it. And it was only when I was driving to the place where I thought, like, even 6 months ago,
Mm.
that would have like knocked me, and I would have thought like, oh my god, I can't do this on my own, I can't go, like I've only met these people once, I can't go to this place and like host. And I say host, like we're all adults, so everyone's very happy just to like we're just all doing our own thing. But yeah, like 6 months ago, I would not have felt like just I would have just got in the car and gone with no
Like,
qualms.
I'm always curious about this. Like, what's the feeling? Like, what are you thinking about? Like, everything's going to go wrong, or that everyone's going to look at
No,
you,
I
or like,
just don't want to. Yeah, I just don't want to be perceived. And
mm,
for me, like any kind of social event, I look forward to up until the moment of having to go, and then like I just don't want to go. Like I just would rather
mm,
stay at home. 99% of the time, I just want to stay at home. So I was surprised in myself that I didn't think, oh my god, I just like don't want to go to this. I would rather not. I just got in the car and went,
mm.
and obviously was a few minutes late, as everyone will get to understand. But I was obviously less than an hour late, which is what happened last time. So I feel like really doing a lot better. And it was just so good. It was really nice. And I finally started writing my next book, which I've been planning for a while. So I'm back in
Exciting.
writing mode. So it's all going well. I also sent out an email to all my email subscribers to join my ARC team for like the next book release, and refreshed the screen like an hour later and immediately had already had people sign up. So it feels good. Everything feels like I'm moving forwards and I'm stepping up and feeling like so much more confident in myself. But then like life whinges is just obviously the ongoing thing with the plumbing issue and the downstairs neighbors, and
Mhm.
I got the invoice and my building the insurance for the building that I pay through like my what we call ground rent here. Doesn't cover like the excess. This is like such boring stuff. The excess is £1,500, so it's like that's a ridiculous amount, and
Yeah.
also more than the fixed cost. So now I'm kind of having to go through my own building and like my home insurance to see
Yeah.
if they'll cover it, because the excess is like 300 quid for that. So it's still ongoing, and I'm
But also,
still
surely you can cope with your downstairs neighbours about like you didn't report this, so the damage became bigger than it should have been.
yes, and that's kind of I've not gone down that route yet,
Mhm.
but because like hopefully it can just be easily taken care of by my insurance. But if it doesn't, and it's got to be paid, like just got to be paid out of pocket, I'm not paying the full amount. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of hoping for the best, and also foreseeing some very awkward conversations coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I am.
But like
Just
any
like
money that you save on that
personally.
is money you can put towards your books. So it's like it's not all
Yeah.
conversation. It was like I don't want to give you this money. It's like you're stealing money from my business by
Well,
not having
yes,
reported this leak that I could have fixed a long time ago.
100%, and also that is money that is basically being taken out of my June SBS pot as well, of having to buy
Yeah.
stuff to go, and so because all this is going on and it's such a big chunk of money, and obviously I will split it with my boyfriend, but for him, because he makes less money than me, to him it's
Yeah.
an even bigger hit. So
Mhm.
it's been a very stressful thing to deal with, and yeah, and it just sucks so much. But it brought up, I did so well in dealing with the initial thing,
Mhm.
and then obviously more stuff came up because I fixed the problem, but I didn't fix the outcome, and that's like more mental stuff to work through. So
Yeah.
I'm seeing it all as a lesson in mindset.
Yeah. And like a
And
relatively small lesson in mindset, right? As in, this is the amount of money feels very big, but say you're a few years down the line, your business is really big and you have like a printing error that's going to cost you 40 grand. And you're like, how do you deal with that? Because that, I can't remember who it was, and maybe like Stephanie Holmes, someone was talking about like a printing error on their Kickstarter. Oh, I think it was like maybe her first Kickstarter she was talking about. I don't know if you saw that post where she's like, um, I'd misread a print quote, and the thing I actually wanted was going to cost me 3 times as much as I had put in the Kickstarter. It was going to cost me tens of thousands of pounds to run this Kickstarter. And I was like panicking and really just like having to think about how I was going to get like a second mortgage in the house, something. And then I had like was able to pull myself together and ask my friends who've done Kickstarters, like, printing can't surely be this expensive. Where do you get your printing done? They were like, oh, this company. And so she did that and she was fine.
Yeah.
And it's just like having to go through that on a small scale. This is giving you a chance to process that experience before it's tens of thousands of pounds on a book.
Yeah, that is how I'm trying to really view it. It's a lesson in life, a lesson in my response and like reactions and stuff, and a universal lesson that I feel like
you don't
this is the small lesson that I'm going to have a bigger lesson, and I'm going to look back on this and think, oh god, that was nothing compared to this. So I'm like, don't know how I feel about that, but that's fine. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens
this
then.
Is
preparation.
You know something big is coming in the future.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I do feel like it's more of it's a good omen, let's say.
It's a good omen for enormous financial crises in the future.
Yeah, but the fact that I will be able to, this will seem like pittance, and I'll be able to afford that later on. I know that I really have
like
to
you can
turn
afford
a
this,
positive.
but it's unpleasant. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not nice. But anyway, so we are reflective today as well. It's technically our Q1 review time, and every time we've done a quarterly review, we've done this every quarter since we started. Every time we've said like, oh, I haven't looked at my quarter. I haven't looked at the list I made. I haven't thought about my actual Q1 plan. Why are we making Q1 plans when they don't work? We have decided to do things a bit differently. How are we looking back at our quarters now?
So we're trying really to look back at how we feel our business has gone, and also see the results of it. But rather than looking at a to-do list that we did or didn't do, it's I think didn't look at. It's I think more fun to kind of look at everything, like a broader look at the business that we're running, and it's been far more helpful because I haven't this weekend felt any kind of shame, like, oh my god, I didn't even look at my list, like quick scramble around, see what I've done, find all the post-its that I've pulled off the wall or not pulled off the wall. So yeah, I think we're just trying to look at this more of a stop and reflect and try and see how far we've come, rather than all the hurdles that we said we were going to jump and we didn't.
Yeah. And also I think we're very good at only like looking at exactly where we are right now. We're both very future focused. So we're always looking at what's coming next. I think both of us find it quite hard to think about like, what's happened this month? Where's the time gone? So yes, I think for us it would be useful just to have like a look back at the quarter. What went right, what went wrong, what can you learn from it? Kind of quarter. I feel like I've done nothing this quarter.
Absolutely ridiculous. Untrue.
Because I published no books this quarter. That's how it feels. Because I worked really hard to get a lot of books out in a series last year, including like adding an extra book in a novella for Christmas in December, and that meant I had like no reserves. So my book 7 that I'm publishing next month, I have done all the writing and editing this year so far. So I did I think maybe 8 books last year. And then it's going to be all the way until mid-April before another book, which feels a little bit scary. A long time between releases. So yes, it feels like I've done nothing.
But this is it kind of, before we started recording, I was talking about how like my ads have gone and how I've been looking at the results, and even though the results aren't always monetary, I can see that they are having an impact in different ways. And I think that that's kind of similar to what we should be doing for the last quarter, is not having just one metric of success. It's how has everything changed for the better in different ways. And that's, for me, like such a nicer, more gentle way to look at things. I like to,
because if someone asked me, I'd say I've done nothing. Yeah.
Well, but that's what I said before. I said like, I don't feel like, I don't know what I've done this year, but I have like edited a book, planned another book, started writing another book. We hosted an online workshop.
What was this
I
quarter?
know.
We hosted
Yeah.
4 online workshops.
Yes, so we did 4 online workshops. I have like redone my whole email system, which was painful, and I've been putting that off for years. And all those things are not necessarily moving me forwards. Like, I haven't released a book, but I've done all of these things that I feel like are setting me up for a smoother sail into the future.
Okay. Yeah. Do you feel like you had a kind of intention generally to be like, I want to be smoothing things out this quarter? Or was it just like, I'm just gonna grab the things that come in
No,
front of me?
I just grabbed the things that came in front of me, but I think all of the hard work that we've been doing over the last 2 years of like really doing like nitty gritty things, and maybe like the way that we treated each quarter for the last couple of years, where we did make a to-do list, which we did complete a lot of the things that we said we were going to do, and it was only the last few quarters or the last 2 quarters where we kind of fell out of that habit. But I think that's just because we fell out of needing to do so many things so urgently. So I think that it just came about naturally that I got to this point of like, oh, I can now just do the things that I need to do without feeling like it's the biggest task in the world.
Yeah. Like, oh, I need to tear my week down to make time to do this. Like,
Yeah.
this is just the next thing I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
was very shocked at when I started. I finished doing my edit, the last edit that I did was the quickest edit that I've ever done. And then I was like really shocked at myself where I realized I was only going to plan starting writing like the next book in like May, but I could just do it right now. And that was like a weird feeling because I'd set up my year based on my past experience. But I have now like leveled up accidentally, just through the hard work.
Through
I've leveled
practice,
up.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like I've got to this point where now I feel like, oh, yeah, everything has made a difference. And now I don't know how to plan my year because I don't like the rest of my year because I don't know what this new version of
Yeah.
me is capable of. Who knows?
I think that is weirdly hard. Like, if you're always trying to improve, then how do you plan for like the better version of you? Um, but without like planning yourself into burnout or like committing yourself to things that actually you don't need to do. So one thing I've done this quarter is make and remake my year plan. I've had to buy. I was so organized last year. I bought my 12-month like wall planner maybe in June. So I'm gonna prep this. I'm gonna have it ready, and then I bought it again in March to remake. And I think this quarter I have done so much like breaking and remaking myself, which we'll talk about more in next week's episode. But I think I just having time away from work has like made me really look at things again, like things I took for granted. Like you're saying, like you took for granted is how long it takes to write a book, and I took for granted like the way I should make my year is to fit in as many books as I can, and like stack them back to back. But I might only have a couple of years off work. Like I might go back to a day job at the end of this, and I have to live with that. So I don't want to go back to it being like, oh, I'm just exhausted. And all I did was like write a bunch of books that no one wanted to read. So I've done things like actually I want to take a month off to work on craft. So that's what I'm doing after this book is done. Is I'm just working on craft, which just feels so indulgent. I mean, I always take December off because it's Christmas, but like that doesn't feel indulgent. That just feels like a natural because also it's just busy and I don't get anything done. I've realized I don't get anything done in December. It's like my rest period. But yeah, and I will be writing a book as working on craft, but not a book that I have any obligation to anything with. And I don't have to finish it. I don't have to write it to any market. It's just something to be fun. And then yeah, I think I've because I've remade my year, I've also kind of got it feeling quite loose in my mind. So like an opportunity has come up that I might move on with, I might not. But it means that I know instantly when I was thinking about that, I know what I could lift out of my year to slot that in. And like that feels really nice to not have everything like locked into place and have it feel immovable. Um, And that has taken like a lot of like hard thinking and like hard processing to not keep defaulting to like write as many books as you can, get as many done as quickly as you can, because like there's more to learn than just that. Like I really want to learn at a bigger level and like be thinking about what my business should be and my career should be. And going to Ireland really helped with that. Like I think like we talked last week about this, like there were a good mix of practical and mindset sessions that have really made me kind of open my eyes. Like obviously like, you see a lot of, like nothing there was like brand new novel. Oh my goodness, I've never heard of the concept of this before. It was just like the time it hit me, the way it hit me, it really felt like, there's a deeper level in which I need to be letting myself think and access, and rather than just sort of riding the rails of like least resistance because I'm too busy with work to do anything else. So I feel like this quarter has been transformational, but I couldn't point to like one specific transformational thing. It's just like
No.
I'm in the matrix. That's how it feels.
Yeah. It feels less like we're fighting against the Mr. Smiths and more like
Yeah.
we are seeing, yeah, like we found our rhythm within the matrix. Because I do feel like and like I've been feeling a little bit weird about this recently, is that I used to feel like I had to do loads of work outside of my day job. So I'd get home and like my schedule is like finish work at 5, come home, do an hour of work, and then make dinner, and like I'd have to squeeze it
When
all
you say
in.
what, like writing work?
Writing work, yeah. And recently I feel like, to be fair, I have taken like a couple of weeks off from my regular stuff, but I feel recently like I haven't been having to squeeze things in as much.
Mm.
And I don't know whether it's just because I have become better at the regular tasks, that they no longer feel like difficult things. They don't feel like complete breaks away from my life. It just feels like a part of my life. Does that make sense? Like it just feels like a
Yeah.
normal task now, rather than an extra task that I'm trying to squeeze in. It's just like part of me and my routine and my whole life. And that has been like a strange thing to realize, because I really do feel like if you'd have asked me even like a few months ago what my day-to-day routine was, I would have told you like my whole day, and it would have sounded so busy and so full. And I kind of took pride in the fact that I had like the energy to do that. Like I'm fine working from like 9 a.m. till 10 at night with like my whole life in between those hours. But now I actually feel better about the fact that I don't feel like that. It's a very because I'm such a like chaos person. I feel like I'm accidentally in the eye of the storm. But is this
That's how I feel in the eye of the storm. Which
this
isn't
like
a
the
great
safe
metaphor.
place? Yeah, like is
No,
it like
it's not a good
am I
place to
in
do
the
it.
am I in the eye of the storm, and I can, and this is like my resting place?
No, I'm resting in the eye of a storm. You can't rest in the eye of a storm.
Exactly. Or is this like I'm in the eye of the storm and like all hell will break loose very soon?
Yeah, I feel like I could be the storm. Like I'm in the middle of it because I could be like the literal storm. Like I'm
Yeah.
controlling it around me. Or I'm hiding. I don't quite know which one. Yeah, it does
Yeah.
feel like an odd resettling of my thoughts. Because I also feel like I am trying to reevaluate like my busyness. So this week I'm editing, and I really like, the reason why today I took the day off to do admin is just like I kept trying to juggle both and getting neither done very well. And for reasons I don't really understand, like I don't find editing very difficult or time consuming, but I kept putting it off. If I had other things to do, I'd put it off. And I can edit a chapter in like half an hour. The chapters that they're short for this book. To get it like half an hour, and I would get to the end of the day and I'd done 3, and I was like, but what? Why? What have I done? Where's time gone? I'd done loads of things, or I'd have the opposite where I do 5 chapters, which is my goal for the day, and get to the end of the day and just be really tired, and I'm like, and I can't do any admin, and it's like I think my body's trying to tell me like I'm just can't juggling is not helpful, it's not productive. I just need to get better at saying, like, I'm not trying to fill every hour crammed as full as possible. I can do 5 chapters, and then if I do that and then rest in the evening, I can come back the next day and do 5 more chapters. But if I do 5 chapters and some admin and fall asleep on the sofa and then get myself the next day, I can do like 2 chapters and no admin, and I feel like I've been busy all day, but I've done nothing. And I just need to be more like honest with myself that I cannot do everything on my to-do list, and not just set myself to do lists that are just endless.
Mhm.
Like, think about literally what am I going to get done.
Yeah, that's funny because I feel like my to-do lists have gotten so much shorter recently, and I don't know whether it's just because I have just decided to only do like the stuff that I need to do right now rather than I don't know, like I always write a to-do list and I always try and fit as much as I can in.
Mm.
And it's not been on purpose that my lists have been super long. But again, like maybe it's just because I have thrown away all of the things that were unnecessary to do every week. Like I don't know, I can't really describe it. I just feel like my to-do lists have gotten a lot shorter and my time has been easier to manage. Again, I have the storm. This is like
It could be
so
terrible.
yeah, this is totally me not realizing that I have like forgotten something super important and like next week everything's gonna be I'll come back next week and say my life has fallen apart.
I got no covers.
Yeah, like oh my god, like oh like I'm waiting for an edit to come back from the editors and maybe that's maybe the calmest because that's gonna be chaos.
I think some things, the more you do it, the less of a burden it feels each time. So, like newsletters, I
Mm.
used to send once a month, and then it would be the middle of Wednesday of the month would be my monthly newsletter. But say that week you're really busy, because it's not in your schedule because you don't do it weekly. So that week happens really busy. You think I'll do it next week, and then next week you just forget, or you're really busy again, and you think, oh, I'll leave it till next month. And I had some times where I would skip it a few months in a row, and because I'd feel so bad about having skipped it once, I'd skip it again, and then I have
Hmm.
to come back to my list and be like, remember me? Um, and and I just hated it. It made me hate my newsletter because it was just this thing that I was failing at all the time. And then I switched to weekly, which is objectively much more work, and it feels like nothing because it's
Hmm.
in my BAU. I don't know if
Yeah,
you heard this
that's
cool
right.
vocabulary, this lingo. It's in my business as usual.
Yeah.
Um, and and so I send every Wednesday. Uh, and you can opt in to have it just monthly if you want to. So I still do a slightly separate monthly one, but that goes to weekly people. So I send one every Wednesday, and it's in a template. I know what it's going to be. So, like, say today we're actually recording quite late because we've done something else. But like sometimes on a Sunday, if we record early, I'll go downstairs and I'll maybe edit the podcast in front of the TV. And I might be like, oh, let me just start thinking about the pictures to go in my newsletter. And I might just gather the pictures together. And then on Monday, I have like the cozy clubhouse and another chat and a couple of bits and pieces. But like Sadie Swimming, I might then be like, oh, let me just draft the content. Because I know it's coming every Wednesday and I know what it's going to be. I can just drip it into bits that are free. Or sometimes I get to Wednesdays and I just do it on a Wednesday, and that's fine. But like, it feels like less of a burden by doing it in a routine way rather than me having to like consciously manually do it. And maybe it's like having sped up a little bit with your books. If there's like more things that are just dropping into routine, your arc
Yeah.
team, your newsletter, your covers, like it's just drop, drop, drop. It's not just like,
Yeah.
oh wait, when do I do this? What do I do? How do I do that?
Yeah, it does feel like that. I think that I've got to a point where I've learned a lot of lessons over the last like since my last release, which was September. I learned so much in that release and like the writing of that book and that whole process was like a brand new process for me. That this time around it's like, oh, right. I've it's like using muscle I've worked the muscles and now I'm
Mm,
using them and it is easier
mm.
and I feel strong and like I could take over the world with this incredible strength I have.
Yeah, publish a book every day.
Oh God.
Um, One thing I've done this quarter is start my like regular retreats to write books on. So
Mm.
I have been on one, two, three, 3 retreats and 1 conference this quarter. And like some of them are not exciting. Like some of them, like one of them's my parents' basement, and one of them was unplanned and very kindly gifted by Craig myself. So like really lovely surprise benefit of not working is just like being a little bit more flexible and be able to do things like that, and not having kids, obviously. But yeah, I've done 3 retreats and a conference, and it feels like I am making the most of my time. I'm really glad that I decided to do this rather than just be like, I go to the office every day and I write.
Yeah.
It's really, it feels like I'm in a different life rather than just like in my weekend life, and it's fun and exciting.
Yeah, I think I think you've done a really good job there because, like you say, you could have just continued a 9 to 5, but just filled it with writing instead, and that's not changing your life. That's doing the same thing, and I've been really feeling like this recently, and I have not yet figured out my version of this, but I've been having those thoughts of my life won't change if I don't change, and I
Yeah.
don't know right now what that means for me. And I feel like in some ways, like I can feel the small changes, but I'm thinking about like the big changes. And I think you've done a really good job of making big changes, which you've completely shifted your whole world and your routine and what you expected of yourself, but also like what other people maybe expected you were going to do with your time. And that is the way to change your life. And I think that's
And it also
exciting.
means I've got something more to reflect on. Like, I think if I had just, like, I use a co-working space, and I'm in fact not renting it next month because I'm just not around consistently enough. I'm in Seville for the conference there. Though a friend is staying at my house, so maybe I should have rented him the desk there. But I've got an office here. This is my office in my house. And then I'm running a retreat for some friends at my parents' house. And yeah, so I'm in and out, you know, not renting my co-working space. But had I just like January 4th or whatever the first day of this year was, gone in and started like a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 routine in the office, I think I wouldn't have given myself a chance to reflect on anything, just because it's so ingrained in you from like school. It's like Monday to Friday 9 to 5, those are the times that you are working. And in fact, giving myself a bit more friction, like actually I have been away from my house too much. And it's really nice when I'm home. And I feel like one of those awful like people who travel a lot for work who are like, oh, you know what, it's a chore to travel for work. I hated being in Bali last month. I wanted to be back in my own bed. Like, no, you don't. That can't possibly be true. But it does feel a bit like that. Like, it's wearing, and my own bed is very nice, and my cats are lovely. So there has been times when I've definitely, the friction has made me think about what I want, which is great. And also because I'm working on a book 1 in a new series, which I hate. I hate a book 1 because it's the worst.
You're wrong. No, you're wrong. Book 1 is the best book.
I think because Cozy Mysteries are like long, ongoing series, and your goal is to be in the world. And in book 1, it's almost like you're marrying people, like you're committing to people that you're going to be with for books on end, and it feels like dating. I don't know. I'm not sure I believe this analogy. But you know what I mean? It feels like a bigger commitment than like discovering something. And you have to get the voice right. And maybe if you didn't get the voice right and you're halfway through the book, you like, have to go back to start again. So yeah, it for me, I feel like I love a book like 3, 4 onwards when I'm like really in the world and you get to explore different parts of it. And a book 1 is just like, it's a lot of mistakes is what it feels like. So yes, so I'm writing a book 1 this year, and so it's gone slowly. I need to rewrite things. It's not the right length. It's not the right character, and it's like everything is not right about it. And I feel like I've got really big aspirations for it. And it feels really hard to make plans for something to go big and well when I can only see a version of it that's like, this is rubbish. Nobody should read this. But I've booked in a dev editor for later in the year, and I've got time to work on it, and it will be better. I hope.
Oh, I'm 100% sure. Like, if you don't like book 1, then if you don't like writing book 1, then you will never see the good in it. Whereas I'm the opposite. Like, for me, book 1 is like my favorite thing to discover. I love discovering the characters and introducing them and like building the world. And anything after that is like, oh, this again. I'm so like enamored by like the flirtation with like all the characters, and the initial idea is always the best part of it for me, and then everything else afterwards is just having to go back. And I hate going back.
Because I can't see it in my head, like it doesn't exist for what's on the page.
Yeah.
The very first time it being on the page is the first time it exists for me. So it's like the first imagination of it, which is actually quite a rubbish version. And I don't really discover it until I'm like a good chunk of through book. I'm like, oh, this is who you are. Let me go back to the beginning and start again. But that's actually quite annoying to have to do.
Mm-hmm. It's I do love how different like our brains work. Because when I go in to write a book from the first book, or like even onwards, but I see it and I know the character and I know the voice, because it all happens at once, and I'm just writing down what I'm seeing. And I can't
I'm hanging out with
imagine...
strangers, and that's horrible for an introvert.
Yeah, like they really do come into my mind as whole people, and then it's my job, and I don't do a great job at this right now, but it's then my job to show those people as well as possible, and just like kind of try and sketch them out and add some color and see if I can make it as photorealistic as possible. And I have yet to do that, but I'm still trying.
I'm working on it. Yeah. I think also because I have like given myself chances to do different things, so not just like in the office 9 to 5, it's made me say yes to more things. So like I've signed up for I just did say I signed up for Inez Johnson's book club, which I don't even know how I came across it, maybe on her Substack.
Yes.
She just put out a very small message, which like I'm terrible at reading people's Substacks. I tend to just like binge read every so often, but this I must have read when it first came out. She mentioned like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have book club, like sign up here to join it. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And it was great, and we just had it, and we had like a real epiphany about books that are successful nowadays. So in fact we read, and I would strongly recommend reading these 3 books just as like to try and crystallize something that's like popular right now. We read last month was Heated Rivalry, this month is The Housemaid, and next month is Dungeon Crawler Carl, all of which I've read. In fact, I read all of them straight away because they were just what I needed. They were like real
You're an
fun
A
books.
student. No, you're just too good.
I mean, some people had not finished the book, and I was like, what? I can't conceive of missing a deadline. Like, you knew the deadline, just
not for reading a book.
No. Deadline.
Yeah. Not if you have to talk about it afterwards. No, you have to finish it. Sorry, everyone.
You have to talk about it.
Even me, who is the most like lazy kind of student, and even at school never finished anything, and like was always in trouble for not doing homework. I would always read the book. I wasn't missing that part.
Well, so I'm gonna suggest people read those books and think of those books as like the 3 really popular books right now in the current moment, and like have a read of them and see what you think they have in common. Because that was really interesting to read those and see they all look like ostensibly incredibly different books, but in fact they have a similar sort of character at their center. And so anyway, so I was able to kind of say yes to that and like jump in and say yes, and other opportunities come up that I've been like, yes, straight away. This castle retreat, yes. And then at like Ireland, people were talking about the Irish conference, people were talking about dictation. And I was like, you know what, I have done dictation before. I'm gonna get back into dictation and do some more dictation. And I feel more I feel like I'm saying yes to things and trying new things, and I want to be doing that rather than just like being on the tracks. And I've got ideas for a series next year that is like ludicrous. Absolutely just like fun, and I want to do something fun, which feels nice.
I'm at the point now like thinking about the next quarter of work, and already like, I'm so excited to start thinking about future stuff, even though I'm still like in stuff that I need to think about right now, but you know, I'm just forever just thinking about the next thing. But what you were talking about just then about like saying yes to things, did you watch that podcast video / episode that I sent you from Floss? What's her channel called? The Florence Given show.
Yes, I will get into that.
Because I watched that recently, and it's also
an audio podcast as well.
It's an audio podcast. It's difficult to say what she would categorize herself. This sounds like I'm putting her down. I'm not. I just mean I think she started as an influencery type person. She's very cool, very outspoken, and she has since like written a book and done a podcast, and she's just like the coolest person. But she is a champion of women and following your dreams and basically just not letting anybody walk all over you and stuff. So one of her recent podcast episodes was about the good girl wound, and it's all about
felt a bit targeted.
It was very targeted, but like, and I'm not somebody. Well, no, actually, this is a lie. I was going to say I'm not somebody that considers themselves a quote unquote good girl, but actually, yes, for my whole life, I feel like I have always thought of myself as in all of like I love being like chaotic and I love doing pranks and stuff, but in my core, I've always thought, but I'm a good girl. But that is very limiting. And listening to her podcast, it felt like, again, like targeted to me and also everyone who's commented on it and stuff. And like, and I shared
it's interesting that her podcast, like, I sort of hate it. She's one of those people who you listen to, you're like, who is she to be doing this? And the whole episode is about, you want to be someone that people say, who does she think she is about? I was like, I do want to be that. I don't want to be.
Is her whole shtick is that she forever says that. She always says, you should be the person who what people say, who does she think she is about?
Yeah.
And I think because she grew up being bullied and always feeling like left out and like she was the wrong person and wasn't like didn't behave like anybody else, that she had been made to feel so small for such a long time that one day she was just like, no, forget it. I'm going to be super cool. And she moved to LA because she always wanted to live in LA, and that's part of her story as well, and she's just having the best time. But this episode was one of the things that she said in it, and I'm going to see if I can find it. It's something to do with some people in life will go into a restaurant and be sat at a table, and it's not the best table in the restaurant, and I'm not. This is not her direct quote, but this is like the idea. It's an empty restaurant, and the waiter will put you at a table, and you're looking at other tables and thinking, I'd rather sit over there, but you don't say that you want to sit somewhere else. And the kind of the vibe of this episode is, why wouldn't you just say, I want to sit at that table? And then you sit at the table that you want, the one that's got the great view, or the one that's near the air conditioner, or the one whichever table you think is best, but you're not asking for it, even though it's available. And that felt, I think, pointed because I always feel like if I walk into a restaurant, and this is general in life, but we'll stick with the restaurant thing, because if I walk into a restaurant and someone says, "Is this table okay?" more often than not, I will say, "Yeah." And then I'll get sat at the table that you get ignored at. Every single time I sit at a table, it's the one that you get ignored at. And it's like, I have such a complex about this now because it happens all the time. And I want to start like pointing to tables where I'm like, nah, can I sit here just for the sake of it? I really want to be that person. Because I think asking for things is just a good practice for opening yourself up for opportunities to say yes as well. Just to try and bring it back full circle.
I think that's part of what I'm finding frustrating at the moment is like, I probably wasn't in the past someone who'd even necessarily think that you could ask for a different table. Like if you weren't given options of tables, I'd be like, oh, this is the table they've given me, so this is the table that you take. And I think now I feel really comfortable because like all they can do is say no. So like if you just say, actually, can I sit in the window? And they can say like, oh no, that is for people who are much more famous than you. We're like, well, all right. I don't care, but fine, we'll come back here again. But like, there's nothing personally insulting about that. Like, I don't care if I'm not a person who's famous to whatever restaurant this is. No big deal. And I think I am really finding it frustrating at the moment. Like, I feel very much like I've overcome those sort of blocks in day-to-day life. So like, I will, like being polite. Like, I think I've worked in, shops before and like would never be rude to somebody working at any sort of service industry because it's a horrible job. I'd like worked in a call center, so like being polite, like will always just politely ask for a thing that I would like, and if it's an imposition to someone else to no benefit to me, wouldn't bother, like don't care. But like I don't feel like it is rude or asking for too much to ask for like a person's help. So like, you go to a supermarket and the staff are all down the aisles and they're not serving, you need something, I'll go and find someone. Like
I'll do
that's
that
not
because I
an
love.
imposition.
I am like the best version of myself in a supermarket for some reason. Can't tell you why.
But I feel like I'm really struggling that like I'm not bringing any of that into my writing life at all.
Yes, yes, and I feel like I have come so far in that, like with going to the writing group this week and feeling like I am the sort of person who can lead a writing group, and I am the sort of person who can check in with everyone and let them know what's going on and ask people what they're working on and be that kind of person. I am changing and I have changed, and I know that this is something in me that I want to change. Like I want to be the person that asks for more opportunities or asks just like to be treated like a superstar instead of like a nobody, which I think is probably what a lot of people feel like is I'm a nobody. But I don't want to be a
Mhm.
nobody, and I don't think I am a nobody. And I don't want to be like the person that everyone says, who does she think she is? But at the same time, if I'm not
And
my
Suki.
biggest fan, who's gonna be? You know?
Yeah, I think I would struggle to be my biggest fan.
I do really love myself though.
I think it's about like a first draft. Like I think I can just see all the different layers underneath of like the imperfect parts. So I find that really hard to feel like enthusiastic, like loudly enthusiastic about. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I want to be really honest to be like, great stuff here, but if you look closely, also some trash.
Oh
Also
no.
just awful stuff.
I want to,
But
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah,
But
but that
you're
has
not
really made me
trash.
realize. I think though, like everyone's got trash parts to them, right? Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
got.
But I also kind of like that. It's like I
Yeah,
kind of like that.
I like it about myself, but like I don't have expectations that people would like it. But I think that's what's made me want to do something like a weird fun project next. It's just like I cannot rid myself of the need for authenticity. To me, I would rather tell someone the warts and all story of myself than stand up and like pretend to be my biggest fan, pretend to be great. Because I'd always rather be authentic than even if it would like change my life to lie and say I was amazing. I don't want the life it will give me. So there's no point me doing it and pretending I'm going to do it. And I'm just really trying to find ways in which like I can be authentic if I need to, like, because I need to be authentic to be enthusiastic. So I
Yeah.
might as well stop pretending I'm going to just be magically enthusiastic about myself and my work. I need to find a way in which like I authentically become enthusiastic about it. And whether that's like by having, well, we'll talk about this next week, in fact.
Yes,
But
yeah.
whether that's like in the writing, in the marketing, in anything at all, I really need to find a way in which like I will do something rather than assume I'm going to become a magically different person who would do that.
So I guess like we could talk about our next quarter before we wrap this up because I feel
Yeah.
like that's like
Get my calendar out. What am I doing?
yeah, I know when's the next quarter? So April to, but I'm not very good at this.
June.
June?
Yeah.
Like what kind of
Yeah.
person are you wanting to become in that time?
Um, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm sort of like on paper, like I'm sort of doing the same as I've done this quarter, in that like I am going to a conference and I'm going to a couple of retreats. So it sort of seems the same. In fact, there's two conferences and three retreats. So I'll be tired is what I'm doing.
You are
Um,
crazy.
yeah, but in a great way. Uh, and also some stuff is kind of a bit up in the air in terms of I am wanting to be less rigid in my schedule. I'm wanting to be able to take opportunities and wanting to do this thing, like this fun project that I'm going to dictate. Uh, so yeah, I've liked that this quarter actually has brought me things that I hadn't expected. So I think actually I still want to keep myself open to new opportunities and not commit and be like, this quarter I'm going to work on this one thing, and then like, no, that was not what came my way. Because I would never have predicted what I'd have been focused on last quarter. I would have thought like,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm going to knuckle down, get loads of words done. Not at all what I did. I have written a lot, but like that's not what my focus was.
Yeah. Yeah. My next quarter is just basically the only thing that I've got planned is a book release, and that's it. So I'm hoping that I find that it's like a smooth course through my book release, because I'm going to be doing NetGalley again, and basically it's just like a rerun of what I did last time to see if the results are the same.
Are
So
you
it's
doing
like
any things like newsletter giveaways for book one, or like discounts for book one?
yes, there's going to be discounts. Obviously more ads. Like I continue to run ads. I've not even spoken
Are you
about
going
ads.
for a book club, but like what are you doing with book one?
I think I'm just going to do like Book Barbarian and
Mhm.
like the Robin Reads maybe, and just do the smaller stuff. I've yet to do Book Bub, but it seems like a white whale for me. I don't know why. I just feel like, oh, I'm not ready for a book bub, but maybe I will be. Who knows?
Yeah.
I will be, I guess, seeing how much money I've
Would
got
you feel
left.
differently had you not got all your money committed to fixing a leak?
Yes, exactly. Like I
Yeah.
think I'm kind of scared to put more money than I have out there right now. So yeah, I'm just going to continue with ads and testing, which like I said, I haven't spoken about, but ads has been great for this first quarter, so it's been fun. Yeah, and just hoping that this book release is like I've got things in place that I did the first time round, and I get to test to see if they work the second time round, because this is like the most consistent I would have been on a book release. That's all I'm hoping for, and I'm open for anything else, and I want everything to be nice and not go bad.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't even talked about ads really, which like both of us
I
done
know.
in this quarter.
We've spoken about ads, you know.
Yeah. I think that has been the surprising thing for me is like I've really had to confront that so much of this business is emotional. And like having someone else manage my ads for me was just to do with like trying to get over the emotional hurdle of not being able to do it myself, because I felt like it was too much a reflection on the quality of the book, and I wanted to see someone else just run the ads without that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I want to tackle other emotional hurdles.
I think
don't
that
want to, obviously that sounds awful.
Yes,
I would
I was
like
going to say we won't get the choice of what emotional hurdles we have to tackle.
Yeah, I'm open to tackling emotional hurdles if it leads to improvement overall.
Open and hopeful that they're not
Reluctantly
big.
open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, sure, but also don't be too bad.
Yeah. Yes, that is where I'm at.
I think that we have probably rinsed this topic now. I don't really have much more to say.
But I am glad we're doing quarterly, like a useful
me
quarterly
too.
review that is just like a good chance to look back on things that we would otherwise not reflect on. And not pretend that this to-do list that we wrote 3 months ago has anything to do with right now.
Oh, so true. Yeah. Like the tasks expire as soon as you write them. It's just
but also like they genuinely like things. I feel like things change so much that you're just like, oh, actually, it turned out I thought that was gonna be useful, but then I swerved and I'm focused on this other thing that's way more important right now.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times I wrote something on my quarterly to-do list and then just shuffled it to the next quarter and the next quarter.
Yeah.
So it was a bit pointless.
Yeah.
Like, case in point, my emails, which took me 2 years of shuffling to then just finally do it because I had a mental breakdown. So just going to take the lessons as life deals them out. I think that's the only thing we can prepare for. It's just see what happens. Next week we are going to be talking about getting bigger and better in our author careers, which kind of is a good follow-on from this episode, I think, because I think we are both in agreement that bigger and better is the only way forwards.
Yeah, and we planned this one because we had a couple of different topics that didn't seem to go together that we wanted to talk about, and then we realized that they're both about leveling up in different aspects. So I am looking forward to it, but also a little bit scared about it. I don't know why. I think it feels like I'm gonna have to make an emotional commitment to something that if I put it into words, I would feel scared of. But actually, that's probably what we need. When you feel a bit scared of something, that's when you need it.
Yes. Unfortunately, I feel like we've had some big life lessons. I feel like everything
How many lessons can there be to learn?
It's like
I must learn the words of
constant. I know. Aren't I my best version now? Put me back in
Yeah.
Sainsbury's, then you'll see. I'm so good in a supermarket. I can't even tell you. So good. Okay, so yes, we're back for that. If you like what you heard today and you want to send some money our way, you can jump into our coffee, which has a couple of tiers there for buying us 1 coffee or 2 coffees, or if you want to be even more generous, 2 coffees and a cake. And that
Ideal
just,
option.
yes, that just helps us with the running of the podcast. You can also go to Discord if you want to join in the conversation. It's fun.
Which you should do. There's some big news coming.
There is big news
when we
coming.
release this episode.
Yes, and it's just the best place to be. The best place. It's my favorite. If you want to call it social media, my favorite social media to check every day. I love it there, and I just love everybody in the group. So come along. Yeah, and then other than that, I guess we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Pen to Paycheck Authors.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to learn how to write your way to financial success.